first of all, we need to have an understanding of the terms that you put forward. Rotational presidency, you said, right? Is it rotational? What was it? Nigeria 2023, rotational presidency and the future of Nigeria's democracy. In my view, first of all, we have to understand that we are talking of Nigeria, and that God in his infinite wisdom designed the way he designed it, such that we have a majority of similar types in terms of acculturation generally on one half, and a majority of similar types at the other end. All right. Because of that, since the beginning of the experimentation about leadership, whether in a democracy or in a military government, we've always had this idea that has been the practice in leadership at the level, at the center mainly, of a president or head of state coming from one half of the nation and his deputy coming from the other half. Not until the 1995 or 90 whatever constitution review, when General Abacha was president, head of state, when his vice president, General Dia, Abacha from the north, Dia from the south, his vice, until that time when they did a constitutional conference then. And at that conference, because of the desires of politicians, we were saddled with a new concept again, apart from just the north and the south. A new creation was superimposed on that easy to relate with system, and we now had 3 zones in the southern half, 3 zones in the northern half. And because of that, now we go to the next item, the issue of rotational presidency. What we have had before then was presidency in such a manner as reflects the diversity. And the diversity was broadly clear, the south and the north. Muslims and non-Muslims, Christians principally. A preponderant majority are in the south, Christians. A preponderant majority of Muslims are in the north. Neat arrangement, universally accepted from the beginning of the First Republic. And now, when we had these 6 new zones, if you're talking of that neat arrangement, new voices came about. Now, leadership or anything would have to be this zone or that zone. And this is on another structure agreed to of states from the 3 regions of the First Republic, which became 4 regions, and then which became 12 states, 6 here, 6 there, to 19 to what, 30, 36? We have 36 now, and the federal capital, which, unlike the previous system of the federal capital being in Lagos, a state, and the federal capital in the south, in the western region, now it is at the center of the nation. It's not even a state, it's simply the seat of power. And it has administration that is run by the central government, even if you have other efforts to do elections and senators and reps and local government chairman and councillors. So my understanding of this thing now is that those talking about like my friend, what's his name, Mark Jacobs, Mr. Jacobs, Mark Jacobs of SAMBA, Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, like he argued at the opening of his statements. He said rotation is a constitutional matter. I don't think it's a constitutional matter. What is the constitutional matter is that it is accepted that whatever you have in terms of these positions, president and vice, governor and deputy, and whatever you're going to do, you reflect federal character, you reflect, because of that, automatically you reflect the South and the North, principally. If you are talking of a democracy, you are talking of political parties. You're not talking of someone who does not belong to a political party, who has not established a political party himself, who has decided not to join a political party, deciding and arguing that, look, what we must have the president from this zone or from that zone. You want to have a president that you would rotate to whatever you want to rotate, set up a political party. Entrench it in the political party rules, that this political party is for all those who believe we should have rotation, zoning, and another person who wants to can set up a political party that says this political party is only for those from my zone. If you want to be president, you want to be anything else but president, you can be in this party, but president must come from my zone. At the moment, the Constitution doesn't even allow it. I mean, even if it doesn't allow it, you can set it up and do your creative literature and send it. If INEC approves, then you go ahead. If somebody doesn't accept it, you can go to court and fight it out. In a democracy, the democracy that I learned from the civics class in secondary school, 1972, 73, Form 1. I think they did just after the Civil War, I think. And the political science I studied as government at CAS, at A levels, and the political science I studied at university, and the politics I've been practicing since 1978, when democracy came back during the Second Republic. Democracy is about numbers. It's about what Laswell says, who gets what, when, where, and how. And these things determine the texture of the choices you make as a person. You choose a political party that is ready to accept your decision that you want to have rotation or you want to have zoning. I have nothing against people wanting to have president go to their zone or to their region or to their half of Nigeria, but it has to be within the rules, in my view. I have nothing against it. The MPN started all this thing about zoning, about rotation, rather, not zoning, rotation. It started it when it came in because it was an agglomeration of interests of leading elites of various states, neatly divided into the three regions. That was the hangover of the First Republic. And it was a success story, more or less, because by the end of the first term of the MPN, when they tried to change the rotation so that they had written into their constitution, key actors within the party, the MPN, said they are not happy with it. And some of them broke away from the party. People principally around General Eradua, who was the vice president to Obasanjo in the military regime, who was the son of a First Republic minister from the North, decided to drag a significant chunk of members of the MPN from the North and create an alliance with the UPN, Awolowo's UPN. And they made such a forceful statement that the MPN was destabilized, and that probably led to the after the what did they call it? The landslide victory. Then they had the gunslide that brought in General Buhari then, because it was the agreement of that political party that they were going to do rotation, but they said, okay, it's not yet time. Shagari has to have 2 terms, and then after 2 terms, whoever wants it from the south can come for it. Others were not of the same opinion. They felt 1 term was enough. They should now take over, and they couldn't. And Awolo, a great man from UPN, in his time, did not even have this rotation thing. He was the president, he was the chairman of the party, and he picked, who was it? Was it Philip Umedi or something from the east to become his running mate? There was no one in the north. It was only during the 2nd term, when that issue of the MPN not agreeing to rotation came about, he went and chose Makama here in Kano, and the federal government and the NECON, the election, the FEDECO, the election commission recognized the owner of the party, Mala Aminu Kano, and those around him, and decided on within the rules, allowing the PRP to remain where it was with him. And so we tried, under the issue of Rimi, to, as part of the progressive movement, the PPA, the progressive governors, to establish a party, and it wasn't establishable at that time. We ended up having our government in Kano, Rimi government, moving into MPP, and MPP still had to say, if you are doing democracy, which is about numbers, allow the political party. It's about free choices. Allow the political party to take a decision. There is no earthly reason why we would universally, the whole of Nigeria, when in Nigeria we had a time that I was in Kano in 1983, from Kano, the core north. I voted not for Shagari, I voted for Zik, because I believed he was a better candidate in my view. He came with a party that satisfied what I believed was right. And in reality, we won the election, but it was strangulated, and the MPN didn't realize if it gave the MPN candidate, it could end up allowing the PRP to unite, and they will not have peace.
Mr. Gwangwazo, let me interject here.
So in 1999, yes, I'm listening.
Now, are you saying that if rotational presidency is introduced, it's going to take our democracy years back rather than progress our democracy? Is that what you're saying?
Certainly. It is. It is a weird idea. MQ Abiola won. He won hands down. He defeated our brother, whom we know, because he was able to reach out. Like right now, in APC, for instance, whoever is able to network, whether from the north or from the south or from the east, and is able to get people within his party to appreciate that people in the states that the parties are, the chapters of the party, whatever levels of the party, are willing to accept him, and he presents himself, and the party presents him, wherever he comes from, whether he comes from Plateau, from Benue, from Bama, from Kebi, from Ekiti, from Enugu, from wherever. And he goes to the polls and the people vote for him. I will respect and accept him as my president. But
all right, thank you.
Just like she said, I also believe it is insensitive and presumptuous and arrogant for anybody to say, I will decide who will be president because I happen to come from so-so region, from so-so zone, from the north or the south. It is presumptuous. It defeats the whole purpose of democracy and the agreements we have made by agreeing to cede our rights to whoever runs the show for us on our behalf at any time. I am not with those who would say it is the North that would decide who will be president, even if it's in the South, or the North will have the president, or the South must have the president, or it must rotate to the North, or it must rotate to the Southeast, or to the South-South, or to the North Central, or to the Northeast, or North. Mandate has he got on the political scene? Acts on behalf of people who decide to register with INEC and decide to register to vote. In the interim, before the vote, you have, because I've seen my phone freezing. Am I on?
Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Your line is breaking, but we can hear you.
Okay. Maybe I need to change the position I am at. Okay. So as I was saying, for anybody to insist that he is the North or he is the South, and that he will decide for the North or the South, he is assuming things that he has no control over. One who doesn't have control over the fact that he will be alive in the next 1 minute, or he'll be alive tomorrow, or he'll be part, or he'll be active enough to even participate when the time comes, or he will even have his hands on the levers of the political parties that will decide. In my view, all this noise is noise we hear from elite, people who refuse to have a relationship with their own constituents, direct relationship. Some of us, I am a local politician. I'm a national officer of a national political party, the PRP, but I consider myself a local boy, a local young man with gray hair in my beard.
Young man.
But that
young kid.
I relate with my constituency, with my constituents. If the people in my constituency take a decision that for them, the candidate who is best for them is a candidate who comes from the North, I will, in my party, support a candidate from the North. If the generality of my party does not share that same view with my constituency or with those that I believe in, the decision carries the day. And then on election day, it is those who choose candidates in their parties who now match those candidates to spar with candidates in other parties, whether from the North, the South, the East, or wherever, or even from the moon, if it is a possibility. Therefore, we should cast our minds, we should set our minds to the reality of what exists today, what existed in the days that, for instance, Madame Briggs spoke about when Eradua, Mana Eradua, was president, and that he was not well, he was on his sick bed, and that it was said he can run.
Mr. Gwangwazo, I'll ask you to kindly conclude. Mr. Gwangwazo.
Points, but what they did was people from the very North fought against that and insisted on allowing a vice president to take over, and Johnson took over. It is not because Umaru and the North believed, in my view, because I was not in PDP. I was never in PDP, but the North does not own the president when he becomes president. The South does not own the president when he becomes president. The nation owns the president. Until such a time that we decide to go a separate ways. Or
Mr. Gwangwazo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let us please kindly conclude.
Okay. Okay. So as in my view, it is democracy. It is the votes that determine where a president comes from. That is what, and in political parties, that's what happens. In APP in 1998, when candidates presented themselves for elections in the political party, in the APP, we in the APP from Kano and from all over Nigeria decided on choosing Saraki, who is Yoruba, from the north.
The north.
Candidate. But two thought they decide for Nigeria, having this kind of.
I think we lost Mr. Gwangwazo.
I heard my brother Jacobs speaking, in my view, appropriately to the topic on the mood of the political parties, moving to what is the reality. Political parties are in the business of getting into government, taking over governments, winning elections. And to win elections, you have to listen to the electorate. When you don't listen to the electorate is when you assume they don't matter. When you believe there are things you can use that are not the votes. And in that case, it doesn't even matter where from a candidate comes. So in my view, we should, all of us who are—
But Mr. Gwangwazo, let me quickly interject here. You are the leader of a national party. What's the name of your party for the benefit of our listeners?
People's Redemption Party, PRP.
Our party before.
People's Redemption Party.
All right. So is the PRP thinking of zoning the presidency, or they wish to pick their president from any part of the country?
The PRP is a political party that has progressive nationalist history behind it. The PRP is an offshoot of the NEPU. The NEPU had never at any time allied with a party because it was in government. It had always allied with a party because it shared ideas with it, it beliefs. The NEPU was in alliance with the NCNC in the First Republic. The PRP.
Yes, but my direct question is: are they thinking of zoning the presidency to any part of the country, or they are ready to pick from any part of the country?
That is the problem. That's the problem with all of you elite, Nigerian elite. You are looking at this thing as turn by turn. You are looking at things other than what politics is about, what governance is about. Governance is about
Mr. Gwangwazo, is PRP looking to zone the presidency to any part of the country, or they are ready to pick from any part of the country?
We don't have zoning. MPN had zoning. PDP probably has zoning. APC may have probably discussed between the candidates, between Buhari and his people, we are his people then, and probably—
so PRP is not zoning the presidency?
I am not PRP. I am a member, a leader of the PRP. I am not PRP. PRP is— we are Democrats. We are progressive Democrats. Anyone who comes into PRP, who wants to buy for anything, can be anything. I, by the grace of God, brought back PRP to life in Kano, along with one lady, a powerful lady, the vice chairperson of the PRP in the Northwest, a lawyer, a member of the National Institute, a member of Federal, an MFR from Kano, whose father was an associate.
All right. So I think Mr. Gwangwazo, we have gotten your answer now.
No, give me a minute. Give me a minute to answer this properly, please. And despite all that, we brought in the party. I contested for governor in the party in 2019. I was somebody else who came in at the tail end of nominations, was elected, was nominated by the party. And I wasn't interested in being a running mate, but I was asked to come and be a running mate, and I was his running mate. And I'm still in the party, and he has left the party and gone to another party. And if tomorrow, I am still in PRP, we are doing mechanic work on it to ensure it is smooth enough for the ride in 2023. If anybody should come into PRP from wherever he is in Kano, and he wants to be governor, if it happens, I'm interested in trying, we will try. If I'm not interested, I will support him or support whoever other person. And if anybody comes and wants to be president, or if I want to be president in the PRP, and I join the fray, and anybody else joins, and I find he's a better person, whether it's from Kano, the north, or from Enugu, or from Oyo, or Ekiti, or Lagos, or Plateau, I will support him as a person, and I will canvass for him. And if the party gives him, I will support him. If it doesn't give him, I'll support whoever it agrees is the candidate. And that's what politics is about. The difference between us and other parties is this.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess at this juncture that you give us your concluding comments on the topic.
Oh, all right. As stated from the very beginning, my position is that certainly a president cannot come from the north and the vice president from the north too. You understand? A president cannot come from the south and the vice president from the south, just like UPN did in the First Republic, in the Second Republic. The reality is that if a president comes from the north, the vice comes from the south. If he comes from the south, the vice comes from the north in each of the political parties. And I am vehemently against any effort by anybody to strangulate the free will of people in political parties by saying, we agree. You who? You people who are saying even the Constitution is not we the people. It was somebody's contraption. Now you are saying, who will be the you who will now say, we have decided the president is coming from the north, if you are a northerner. Or we have decided it's coming from the south. Or we have decided from the south, it will come from Yoruba land, or from Igbo land, or from South, or from the various tribes in that area. I am vehemently against that kind of thought, specifically because we had that kind of trouble in 1998, built up to the 1999 elections, when APP, we decided we wanted to choose Saraki, the father of the Saraki, who was Senate president, who would make an excellent presidential material because he appears like the kind of person who is more Nigerian than most Nigerians, because he is from the zone that is seen as Yoruba, and that is in the north. He is a Muslim, which is a religion that a great majority of northerners relate are, and then a great majority of Yoruba land are, and he is married, I believe, to a Christian. And not that I am campaigning for him, because I'm not in his party, and he has not told me he's coming into PRP. I don't even know him enough. I don't even know him actually. I don't know him. I've not met him. I've only seen him from a distance at a public event. And yet, I would not, even if I am in a position to now say so, I would not agree that you just zone it to so-so person or to so-so zone. Anyone who wants to be president should go and work within his political party and work with the constituencies across Nigeria and do what Abiola did, and make sure he doesn't make the mistake that Abiola was forced to do, that caused all the commotion that led to June 12th. He must
thank you very much.
The mistake that Obasanjo did when the majority of Nigeria, the Nigerian elite, decided to vote for him. The North voted for him because they thought the West was with him.
All right, thank you.
The West didn't vote for him. But after winning, he went and became a Westerner. And now, the good thing though is that Obasanjo is truly a Nigerian. He was an effective president. And the same mistake that our president, Buhari, is making now. He was voted not because he's from the north. He was voted because the whole of Nigeria, the political machines across Nigeria were willing to vote for him, principally the west and the north, and pockets of the southeast and pockets of the south. Yet, despite that, he has tried. He has constitutionally given every section its due representation in his government, and has concentrated projects in particular in the south, has concentrated attention and allowed governance interest, the focus, the resources of governance to go to the south more than the north. He has in the north, he has, because of certain actions of those around him who are not politicians, unfortunately, who are not with him all the years he was in politics from 2002. We were with him up to the time we went into PRP. He chose to choose only principally those who are either his personal aides or his relatives or those from people who are related to some of his relatives, and give them prominence in the government. And that,
Mr. Gwangwazo,
and that has been used unfairly against the North. That this president is a northern president and nepotistic, and he is not nepotistic, in my view. He has given everybody the chance.
Mr. Gwangwazo.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have to ask you to please conclude in less than a minute. We've completely exhausted our time, so you have to conclude now.
In conclusion, I agree. We can have a president from the south if a political party, maybe the APC, had an agreement that they entered into, written or unwritten, and that they are going to hand over after Buhari to the south, then it's only honorable and gentlemanly that they do so. If they have no such agreement, then it is ungentlemanly for any section to now be holding the nation over a barrel that we must have it because it is only fair to rotate.
Thank you so much.
They have anything to say other than what I've said, that nobody can justifiably, fairly, legally speak for the North or for the South or for whoever in a decision that says every political party, with no exception, must field a candidate from so-so area. The only thing anybody can do, that is within his rights and capacity legally, is to go into a political party and to work within that political party to either institutionalize this, rotate positions after terms, or keep them open for whoever. At the same time, this is one aspect. The second aspect is I have no beef with zoning, as it were, in the sense that a president comes from the north and a vice from the south. A president comes from the south and his vice from the north. And that is a settled constitutional thing and a settled practice in Nigeria. What I cannot agree to is what injustice was meted to Nigerians in 1998, when political parties were forced into inconvenient marriages. PDP was forced to force every other candidate but Obasanjo. And APP was forced, a candidate was forced on APP and he was removed, this ONU, and Falae was grafted from AD, and someone from APP, Shinkafi, was grafted onto it, and it was said, now this is Falae, AD and APP, and Obasanjo, PDP. That is insane. It's not 21st century. It is not education. It is not reasonable. People should not be blinded by selfish interests. I'm not blinded by having Buhari coming from the north, a Buhari I know. To the extent that I won't accept, I may not be going to point at his fault, at his failings, at his faults, but I will not deny if faults are pointed out. You understand?
Thank you so much, sir.
And